Ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Tiger Pick'ems here on MUTV. My name's Shane Palma, and today I'm joined by Kayler Smith and Angelo to recap last week's college football news and look forward to the games ahead. So, one of the bigger headlines of this past weekend comes out of Columbia, Missouri, right here, after the Tigers beat the Troy Trojans 42-10. What can you tell us about this game?
Yeah, if you're checking in early, you might have seen Troy was up 7-0 quick. Caleb Barker, Troy's quarterback, led them down a drive, 75 yards. They put up points early. Maybe you were worried. I wasn't. Kelly Bryant came back, and he got on a roll. Troy didn't put up another point till the third quarter. Kelly Bryant was brilliant. He scored 4 touchdowns, 3 through the air, 1 on his feet. Mizzou's defense was great again on a dominant role, and another pick 6 on the season, this time from Cale Garrett. Unfortunately, Kelly Bryant would leave the game later, as well as Cale Garrett. We learned later Kelly Bryant's okay, he just got tackled awkwardly. Unfortunately, Cale Garrett not the same. He's out for the season with a pectoral injury.
Yeah, and this is absolutely crushing blow there for Mizzou, losing Cale Garrett. He's been such a leader on that defense, but it's crucial that this team remains positive, especially with Kelly Bryant able to play. Kayler, what did you see last week?
One pretty underwhelming game was the Big 12 matchup between Michigan and Iowa. Nathan Stanley threw for 260 yards for the Buckeyes, but that was not reflected in the final score. Michigan only scored 10 points, so it was a pretty big defensive game. Shea Patterson went 14 for 26, so that just attests to how the defense played that game. Overall, not super impressed by either offense, but Michigan's defensive effort makes them a definite threat going forward.
All great points there. Michigan's defense definitely looking better than they have the past few weeks. All right, let's dive into some of these other games for the weekend. Up first, we have the 10th-ranked Penn State taking on 17th-ranked Iowa. who do you have in this one?
I've loved watching Sean Clifford go to work for Penn State. He's been a great replacement for Trace McSorley. He's well over the century mark now for passing yards, and he only has 2 picks to show for on the season. Like you said, Iowa's offense looked completely incompetent against Michigan. Iowa's at home. The matchups at home, they'll have a bit of an advantage there. You know, Iowa Stadium, Kinnick Stadium is one of the best environments. But I like Penn State in this one, 35-14.
I'm going to go against you there. Although Iowa's offense was not good against Michigan, they're averaging 425 yards per game of total offense, and they only give up about 250 yards per game. And I don't think Penn State's really seen the competition that Iowa has yet with Michigan and Iowa State, so they've seen some of that competition, so they're ready to play a tough competitor, so I think I got Iowa in this one.
Both great points there. I personally have Penn State continuing their dominant role, beating Iowa 36-26. All right, guys, moving on here. We have the 6th-ranked Oklahoma taking on 11th-ranked Texas. Kayler, your thoughts?
I have OU all the way in this one. They've outscored their opponents 267-95 thus far. They haven't really seen any too high efficient of offenses, but them themselves have been very efficient. Jalen Hurts averages 350 yards per game in the air, and also leads the team in rushing with 100 yards per game, so that's pretty impressive. Hard for defenses whenever you have a dual threat quarterback like that, but also he has the ability to spread the ball out between all of his receivers. There's not one receiver that's standing out statistically because he's able to spread the ball out so much. So I think that's going to be an issue, but I think Texas can capitalize on their third down offense because OU only converts about 55% of the time, so that's something that Texas can capitalize on. I think that Texas will give OU more of a challenge. It might not be as high scoring, but I do have OU taking this one.
Yeah, no disrespect to that Oklahoma offense of Jalen Hurts. I think he should win the Heisman based on his play, but Oklahoma's yet to see a decent defense this year. Playing in the Big 12, it's just not going to happen that much until you're facing up with teams like Texas. So I think Texas is going to give Oklahoma their first big test. I think Jalen Hurts is going to throw a couple interceptions. He'll be frustrated on the day a little bit. That being said, it's still going to be an offensive shootout. That's how it always goes in the Red River rivalry. And Texas is getting back their senior wide receiver, Colin Johnson. He was out last week. He's coming back this week. I think he puts up a big game. Sam Ehlinger, dude's just a baller. He's a big baller. He can throw it through the air. I like Texas in this one, 44-40.
Two great offenses, two great quarterbacks, but I believe Jalen Hurts outplays Sam Ehlinger and gives Oklahoma the victory, guys, 52-46. All right, next up is most likely the game of the week with how it's shaping up to be, as we have 7th-ranked Florida versus 5th-ranked LSU. JJ, who you got?
LaMichael Pirine and that Florida running game have been really good. Kyle Trask has been a surprise stepping in for Felipe Franks. It's hard for me to root against Florida. I love the Gators, but that LSU offense has just been something we've never seen before, just historically great. I do think it's going to be a little bit more of a SEC slugfest that we've been used to in past years, kind of going back and forth. I think LSU takes this one, though, 29-19.
Yeah, I agree with you on LSU's offense. They're one of the most productive offense in the nation right now. It is a bit worrisome that their defense was able to give up 38 points to Vanderbilt. So I think that Florida has some room to work with, but I'm gonna agree with you that LSU is gonna take this one. They're 31 for 31 on red zone attempts to scores, so that's a very impressive statistic. So I think that LSU's it's gonna be a back and forth game. I agree with you there, a close one, but I have LSU taking this one.
And listen, it wouldn't be a complete show if you guys had seen the first episode if I didn't mention my guy, my favorite for the Heisman, Joe Burrow. Quarterback for LSU. I think Burrow will have another phenomenal game going back on last week's 5-touchdown performance, and he only turned it over once. The guy's been amazing. I have LSU in this one, 55-44. It's going to be a big game. Finally, of course, we have the Mizzou homecoming game this weekend against Ole Miss. Kayler, what's your prediction for this one?
This one was a tough one for me. I wanted to take Mizzou until we had the injuries. It's going to be a different game now without Kale Garrett in. He was just such a difference maker for us. Our defense itself has scored 5 touchdowns, but Kale Garrett leads in solo and total tackles for loss, defensive touchdowns, and interceptions. So that's going to be a big game changer for Mizzou's defense. With Kelly Bryant also probably not going to be 100%. I don't know if I can take Mizzou in this game, so I'm gonna have it be a close game, but I think Ole Miss is gonna take it for Mizzou's homecoming.
All right, bold choice. I think Ole Miss has shown they've been able to start games well. They have a working offense. Where they've struggled is finishing games. If you watch that game against Cal, just unable to get it done in the last closing seconds. I think that's going to show up against Mizzou. Obviously, the story's going to be whether or not Mizzou's defense can show up like it has in the past. That'll be a defining moment, whether or not they can step up. But I do like the maturing Kelly Bryant. He's been getting better, as well as Larry Roundtree. I got Missouri in this one, 30-14.
Apparently the production crew over there didn't like your pick, Kayla. They had to make some noise. But I think even with Garrett out, Mizzou can pull this one off. A big win at homecoming, 27-17. All right, guys, do you have anything else that we should watch for this weekend?
I think we got to keep your eye on Texas A&M, Alabama. I think Alabama still wins, but it's a ranked matchup. Texas A&M always looking for an upset.
That's all I got.
Another big matchup that we didn't get to hit on today is Notre Dame and USC, a big rivalry. It definitely should be a good game. All right, guys, for Kayler Smith, JJ Angelo, and the rest of the MUTV crew, I'm Shane Palma, and this has been your weekly episode of Tiger Pick'ems.